Hey guys, welcome back to another video. We are T-minus 3 days until the launch of Hytale. Now, I don't think I actually have this pulled up, so we're gonna actually figure this out. Display, automatic. So I got my gaming display over here. And guys, if you look right here, we actually have the Hytale launcher. We can't be playing it yet, but it's here. So now it is time. So we got a few more blog posts from the last one. We got some tweets, and we got some videos to check out, and some stuff to pretty much discuss. There has been so much going on. Let me change the lighting a little bit. It looks a little bright. Still gonna be trying to figure out some stuff. I did stream. I did change a few things in OBS, so hopefully you guys can hear a little bit better. So, I think we're going to start off with a look at Hytale's lore and philosophy. This is an official thing. Then we got a bunch of videos of some of the things we can be expecting day one or from Hytale itself. I'm also going to be starting to work on a video. This is probably going to be the last thing I get until the launch. There's just so much. I wanted to wait a few days, but we're here. I am going to do a video that if you guys are watching this and you still aren't quite sure what Hytale is, or you just want like a summary, I'm going to be making a what is Hytale video. There are people that I've talked to or in the comments of a lot of these tweets that either, one, I have people that I've seen that don't know what Hytale is, period. They've never heard of it. I have people that are like, oh, that's still in development. They forgot about it because it's been almost a decade. Or there's people that are still thinking it's been canceled as after last year. All their hopes were shut down and they quit being in the loop, which makes sense. When your game gets canceled or a game that you're anticipating gets completely canceled, completely scrapped, you're not going to like look around, especially if you got excited after the purchase in Riot, etc., etc. But that's not the time or place right now. If you guys are looking forward to that, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell. I'll absolutely be doing that, or join the Discord. Everything will be in the comments. Or not comments, the description to all of these things as well. But let's get into a look at Hytale's lore and philosophy. This was posted on January 8th. It is currently January 10th. 3:55 p.m. I'm making that clear because there's just so much stuff coming out that if you guys are like, hey, there's this massive thing that dropped at 4:30 today and I didn't get it, that's because it dropped after I started recording. So let's get into it. Hi everyone, I'm Joe, holder of the keys to Hytale's lore vault, and I'm here to take a few minutes to talk about our approach to narrative and lore, as well as try to set or reset some expectations around it. This one I'm actually very excited about because there's definitely been the concept lore, and Minecraft has that as well, but it's so just not there. It is so open-ended, which isn't a problem, but it's the fact that some of it contradicts itself. I want, like, some kind of, like, congruent story. Like, the Wither and Ender Dragon are just there. If there was some kind of story behind, like, where all these things are coming from, but, like, who that civilization is or something, and we don't know that, I don't need to know, but I just want to, like, make it clear through some way. Before we get stuck in, there's one thing I want to get out of the way to avoid disappointment. This blog post will not contain any new specifics about the lore and narrative itself. There will be no grand secrets or surprises divulged here. That part I'll leave for the game itself, which I'm very happy about. On concept art, we announced the game 7 years ago. We released an unusual high amount of concept art for a game still in development. We did so with clear disclaimers that this was all work in progress, and that it wasn't a promise. Contents would make it into the game. A disclaimer will still feature prominent. We still feature prominently on our media page. Guys, I'm reading this for the first time. I'm also very tired. I also normally wear glasses, except I haven't the last few months, and I haven't done a lot of, like, deep reading, and I think that's where my glasses are needed. Much of the content art, it included ideas and inspirations that we already outdated by the time they were released. Some of those ideas were only that, inspirations that weren't necessarily intended to become an actual canon within the lore. Over the years that followed, more and more of that content art became gradually less accurate, to the point where entire sheets were dropped and their contents were either removed or no longer planned for implementation, such as the inevitable nature of concept art. Okay, that's not surprising. So pretty much, they made art, they released it, but they already made it's like it's just planning, like brainstorming. I'm gonna make a picture, and actually, it's gonna look this way. I like this style. Let's change this character in here. But none of it was the final set, but it was a starting point. The Klopp's hidey hole. This looks like a great little thing to find. Revisiting Hytale's lore. Since the reaccusation, many of these changes have been rolled back or reincorporated in different ways. Hytale evolved and changed dramatically over the years as the vision shifted, lore being no exception. The narrative went through multiple drafts, many of which weren't entirely compatible with each other. Entire factions were dropped or drastically changed. We have made a conscious decision to return to an earlier draft, one that's far more compatible with the engine we're shipping and the vision we have for the game as a whole. As a result, many aspects of the lore, most of which were never publicly revealed, have changed. Some of these changes will keep in reserve with the potential to return to them later, but for now, they're not a part of our canon, and there's the possibility that they may never be. At the same time, okay, you guys can see. At the same time, we're working to reconcile the new with the old where we can, and where it makes sense to do so. For example, revised skarts were first shown. When the revised sharks were first shown, the change was divisive. Today, we like both the old and the new designs. But with the timeline we're shipping on and the fact that the new designs aren't usable in-game, we can't exactly throw out the old ones anymore. Nor do we want to. For the constraints and necessities come a many's of bringing both into the lore and making them work. No spoilers on how, though. You'll learn that eventually. This draft also retains many of the major aspects of the lore the community has come to love over the years. Characters such as Gia and Varen are still very much part of our canon, and Tessa and Cryo are coming back as well. We also intend to revisit the concept of alter-verses, as we value opportunities it offers to plan for long-term content to connect to the overarching narratives eventually we want to tell. Ooh, that looks crazy. I'm loving this. Dang, we still got a good bit. All right. Overall, this reflects our general philosophy and approach to the lore, to build a cohesive framework that leaves enough room to explore the ideas that generate excitement, both within the team and across the community. It's crucial to us that we maintain a consistent and coherent narrative while also allowing experimentation and interpretation. Our philosophy. Lore should not be a strict set of rules that everyone on the team is required to follow when designing content. It should be an inspiration that fuels creativity and allows experimentation, but also a set of guardrails to ensure we don't get too far off track and that everything remains consistent. We do have a set of canon foundations that are very unlikely to change again, but everything above them is kept flexible enough to change if needed. Much of our lore, especially the early teases presented in exploration mode, will be uncoverable by exploring the world and uncovering hints left in the form of structures and the items or objects found therein. This method of storytelling is often referred to as archaeology and gives us the flexibility to tell stories from different perspectives, many of which may not share the same understanding of Orbis and its nature. For example, while Gary is the avatar of Orbis, not all factions may be aware of this fact. That looks gorgeous. That's not to say Hytale's lore is same throughout, is some throwaway thing into which we put very little thought. The exact opposite. In fact, every new idea is examined for all angles to see how it might fit into the whole, and if it even will. With every new introduction, these canon foundations grow, and ideas form into concrete aspects of a faction, a region, a narrative beat, or anything else. This isn't so different to the way that much love canon events evolve. What binds it all together is a shared vision and a curator to ensure consistency. Of course, this is only one side of the coin in the end. As much of our lore exists to eventually tell a story, we want it to serve as a framework within which you, the players, can tell your own tales. The adventures you embark upon, whether to learn more about the world and its history, build magnificent castles, or cultivate a cozy farm, are as much of Hytale's narrative as any stories we may tell in a future adventure mode. So now we're going to go into exploration mode. I think this is the general survival mode. So it looks like adventure mode might be not like Minecraft where, it's for creative maps, which it could be. But it looks like adventure mode will be almost a single player exclusive like story game, right? Like a Call of Duty campaign, like something side. Like you have your big multiplayer servers and your single player, yada, yada, yada. But it looks like this is a PvE experience in sense of I don't know, like I'm blanking. I know there's bigger games, but that's kind of what I'm experiencing. Whereas exploration mode is your survival mode. It's just your general survival mode. That doesn't mean there's not story there, but that's main thing is the survival and freedom sandbox element. That's what I'm understanding. Exploration mode. With the highly accelerated timeline to release an early access version of Hytale, it shouldn't come as a surprise that there's been no time to put in a grand sweeping narrative. There are no systems in place to support such an endeavor, and there's never been a vision of the game that is anything close to narrative implemented. Even the details of the story itself have never truly been finalized. As a result, lore and exploration mode to be uncovered almost exclusively through archaeology and discovery, and to be relatively light at first. There are certainly secrets to be found throughout the world, and nothing exists without intent. We'll also continue to introduce lore as we update other aspects of the game. Though I've said that there will be no grand narrative, there is a narrative of sorts present. It's one intended for players to piece together as they play through the exploration mode, one that ties into our transition from World Gen V1 to V2. Perhaps the term Cursebreaker will ring some sort of bell. Oh, damn! So some kind of... Oh, that's so cool! I love that! Change is never just for the sake of change. That's deep. As a closing note, I like to take a little bit of time, talk a little bit about a change, a recurring theme throughout this post. Hytale's lore has always been in the state of flux. In the past, it's changed and changed again, sometimes so often that members within the team had different understandings of what was true and not. Since reacquiring the game, we've made changes too. Some I already mentioned early in this post. Not every change will be popular with everyone, but sometimes those changes are necessary for a variety of reasons, even if it might be hard for some of you. We don't and won't make changes to lore just for the sake of it. Every change we make is intentional and thoroughly thought out. Until now, With our early access release date looming, there has never truly been a moment where anyone could definitely say this is canon Hytale lore. Some concepts have remained relatively unchanged, but even they weren't really safe. Only when you, the player, step into the the echoes of Orbis for the first time, can we truly and finally say that Hytale's lore has crystallized into canon. That was phenomenal. Anyway, we got a lot more to cover. That's just the lore. We'll definitely be going into that. We're already 15 minutes in. Holy moly, guacamole. So we're going to switch over. There's going to be 2 more parts of this video. So we're going to have the blog post, we're going to have the YouTube, and then we're going to have the Twitter. Let's go to the YouTube. And we're going to start off with Hytale Animation. Right here. This is something that happened a few days ago at this point, but I wanted to react, and I was kind of planning on making like this big compilation video once again. This is going to be 1 minute and 2. I do believe the audio should be there, but before we do that, I think I'm fine to do 1080 60. So let's do that, and let's check out in-game mechanism experimentation. Work in progress. Okay. Several years ago by Ninja Charlie as an intern experiment. During early access, features are not fully available as we focus on improving the game. We plan to restore them for player use in an early. Ooh. I can't believe we're actually getting here, guys. This is great. Is that gonna be a dragon or something? Is that a T-Rex? Brother is riding on a T-Rex of sorts. Okay, that looked phenomenal, but I don't quite know. It is a creative piece and not a reflection of current gameplay features lore. All animations shown were recorded in-game with temporary custom... Okay, so pretty much this is just going to be part of that, like, making the movie... making movies within the game, so that's pretty cool. But now we got this one build that somebody did on their break. This looks insane. Why is auto? Can I change that in settings? I don't know. Guys, what is this? Because this looks magical. So I've seen clips of some of this, like a picture, but I didn't fully sit down and watch or open up anything. Oh my god. Is this the version we're getting? I think this is what one of the developers made. So I think this is going to be the version that's currently, will be available on Tuesday. Okay, that looks great. Oh, man. Okay, there is another showcase I want to do, but first we're going to go through and check out some creative gameplays. This one is a little bit of a longer one. We're not going to watch the whole thing, but it's just kind of checking out some more gameplay. So this one is the new Entities tool. There's no description. Sorry, guys. Man, so like adventure maps and stuff are going to be great. This is the type of thing I probably won't do, just because this is definitely more that creative style, which I never played too much on. But I'd very interested to see how much of this type of stuff will be done in survival. So let's go on to some of these tweets. So we got Simon. He's the main guy himself. This is one of the builds I really wanted to show off. Along with that, so this Hytale custom map was built by 2 team members during an internal mod jam a few years ago. Okay. They created new blocks, weather, and furniture and built this entire map all in 5 days. After release, we will make these blocks, furniture, and items available for players to use in creative mode. Maybe someone will create a Cybertale adventure map or even an MMORPG server. Okay, so this stuff will not be there, but this is what somebody did because Hytale is a game specifically for modding. Like, it gives you freedom and ease of access to do your own thing. Okay, this is looking crazy. Dang. That's gonna be pretty crazy. Okay. So the final thing I want to really dive deep into a little bit. There's a lot more I want to cover, but it looks I couldn't find it, but I'm gonna talk about it at the end. I did find this video. This is from January 8th. And it's just a look at Hytale crafting system. So we got our hotbar, so we're just gonna kind of see some inventory. We got our workbench upgrade, because this is, if you guys know Vintage Story, this is gonna be very much more like Terraria than Minecraft. Not in visuals, but in gameplay style, because in Terraria, you're gonna upgrade your furnace to a hell forge, and then to an adamite mantite forge, or something like that, right? There's a lot of different upgrades in crafting stations. Whereas in Minecraft, you got a crafting bench, and that gets you through everything. Like, anything you want to make is in that crafting bench. Whereas in this one, you have to upgrade. You have different crafting benches, and you have to have different tools to make said. This one's already crazy, and that's actually really cheap. I wonder where you can put that. Okay, so it takes a minute to craft. Okay. Okay. Interesting. Okay. So the last thing I want to talk about is, I don't want to go through just different things, but one of the biggest things that's been happening over the last few days is, remember we talked about CurseForge and all the modding support that Hytale will introduce on day 1. Well, Simon gave the go-ahead that everyone could start releasing their mods. So we got a bunch of stuff here. And pretty much the last few days, he's been releasing a bunch of, people have been releasing a bunch of mods. So let's see. I don't know. Gave the go-ahead to some Hytale modders who were testing with us over the past few weeks to post. You will see lots of screenshots, videos, and pops up in the coming hours and days. So there's just a lot of information out. It all looks phenomenal, and I'm very excited. Yeah. So guys, I actually think that's where I'm going to end today's video. But we covered a lot. Hytale's just a few days away. I just want to go over the few more announcements that's coming. And there's going to be a lot of mods on day 1. I saw like 50, a bunch of really good ones, practical ones, like just fun building ones. There's just so much. So we will definitely be checking a lot of that out eventually. That will not be day 1 though. Mods are great, but something like Terraria, I don't want to play modded Terraria if I never played Terraria. There's a few quality of life things that are very important, but for what this type of game is, I really want to experience it in a raw feeling, with no additions to progression and everything, especially for early access. I want to see what the progression currently is like, because if we have mods that change our idea of progression, I don't know what Hytale progression is. I know what, for example, Terraria, Calamity progression is, which is very different. So I want to be able to have that feeling and understanding so I can give constructive feedback and criticism, or try to find mods that want to make it progress in a way that I feel is worth it. But guys, again, if you want to follow along on our journey, make sure to subscribe, hit the bell. I'll be playing day one. Hopefully, I got the launcher. It's probably not going to work. I probably won't be streaming till later in the day. I work till 5 on launch day. But in the morning, I'll definitely be trying to sit down and install it at least. I might open it up, so you might not get that one. I just want to make sure it works before I get to work. But thank you guys so much for watching today. Thank you guys for the support in the last one. That one has been blowing up. It got like 600 views, which is crazy. Thank you so much, and I cannot wait to see you guys. We are T-minus 3 days. See you then. Peace.